we are talking about a topic that everybody is involved. And everybody, no matter who you are, you will get there one day. We are talking about in-laws relationship. Mother-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, father-in-laws, uncle-in-laws, all the in-laws relationship. When you read Genesis chapter 2 verse 24, it talks about how our children will leave the house and will go and join their wife and be one flesh. And so even the Bible wants our children to leave the house. The Bible wants our children to go and cleave to their wives, to their husbands, to be one flesh. And so to me, when your child is leaving the house, it shouldn't be a struggle. It should just be a shift of, loyalty or responsibility. So in a perfect world, my daughter's husband should be my son. I should treat him like my son. In a perfect world, my son's wife should be like my daughter. We should treat each other like the extra family bonus that we didn't have before. Unfortunately, and this breaks my heart to say it, unfortunately, the mothers think that their sons' wives are the problem. And the wives also think that their husband's mom or parents are the issue. It shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that. I want the daughters or the daughters to know that before he became this wonderful son that you have, before he became a doctor, before he became this successful young man, somebody made sure that he turned out the way he is. An auntie somewhere, a sister, a big sister somewhere, a mother, a parent sacrificed to make sure that you have this wonderful man, that he is your husband, that you are so proud of. And so once you get him, once you marry him, make sure that you treat his parents like your own. Make sure that his parents are also your top priority. Because trust me, if you don't treat his parents the same way as you treat your mom, it's going to be noticed. He is going to notice it, and the mother-in-law is also going to notice it. And also the mother-in-laws. The fact that your son have married somebody does not give you the right to treat her anyhow. Most of the times, mothers, we think that our son is the prize. We think that our son do not do no wrong. That this girl who is marrying my son do not deserve him. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it is like that. Sometimes they don't deserve him. But hey, that is the choice that your son made. Your son went and married her. So as a mother, responsibility to accept it. As a mother, you need to accept her as your daughter. And if you accept her as your daughter and treat her as one of your children, things become a bit easy. The house becomes peaceful. Your son becomes happier and at peace. But if you decide to say that she doesn't deserve your son and so you're going to treat her anyhow, that is when it brings chaos in the house. The Bible says, as much as it depends on you, live at peace with all men. So if you are living at peace, or you are living in peace with your friends, you are living in peace with your co-workers, living in peace with your church members, how much more the woman who loves your son? How much more the woman who has your son's best interest at heart? How much more that woman? So daughter-in-law, you have to know that your mother-in-law is in the same team as you. You both want your son to be happy. You both want your daughter to be happy. I want us to know that because of our children, I want us to know that because of your husband, because of your wife, we are now one family. So you cannot love your wife and not love her family. You cannot love your husband and not love his family. If you love him as much as you say, then you need to let him see it through you loving his family. It is difficult because we have mother-in-laws that are a bit difficult to deal with. We have daughter-in-laws that are also a bit difficult, cold to deal with. But who doesn't? It is difficult. It is honestly difficult to live with anybody. And so living with your mother-in-law, your daughter-in-law, it's difficult. But we have to make it work. How do we make living with mother-in-law, daughter-in-laws a bit easier on our side? By creating boundaries, talking about it. Before they agree to come and live with you, who is the husband? You, who is the wife of that person? Sit your mom down, sit your dad down. Tell them the boundaries that they can cross and the boundaries that they cannot cross. Let them know things that are acceptable in the house and things that are not acceptable in the house in a respectful way. Okay? I've seen somebody who is living with her son's wife, and the son's wife has turned this woman into a house girl. The son's wife has turned the mother-in-law into a servant in the house, a housekeeper. All because this woman decided to help out. This woman was cleaning the house for them. And then the young girl asked the mother, "Can you come and clean our bathroom for me?" And this mother did. She cleaned the bathroom for them. And then it became ongoing. And so when this young lady comes home and her bathroom is not clean, guess who she goes to? Mother-in-law. How come you didn't clean our bathroom? How come it's not clean? How come it's not as we want it to be? How come this is not here? How come this is not there? It breaks my heart to see daughter-in-laws treating their mother-in-laws like this. And I have seen a mother-in-law living with his son and the wife, taking over the house, thinking that her son is in charge of the house, thinking that her son is the one paying for every bill. And so this woman thinks she is the owner of the house. So she do cooking without telling the wife. She changes things in the house without letting them know. She take over everything in the house without letting the wife know. I have good news for you and I have bad news for you, my mother-in-law, my daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife. She deserves the respect that your son is giving to her. She is your son's wife, so she is the person making your son happy. There are certain things that you as a mother can never and will never be able to give it to your son. But guess what? The wife is the one providing it for your son. Guess what? The wife is the one giving it to your son. Giving him that satisfaction. And so you owe your daughter-in-law that respect, that appreciation, making sure that she is also happy with you as a mother. I always say it's not even the best. It's not a good idea to go and live with your mother-in-law or your daughter-in-law. It is not good. But hey, we are in a world where things are changing. You might be in abroad, your mother-in-law to come and help you out. And because of that, things happen. But when we decide to live with each other, we need to set the boundaries. Mother-in-laws cannot treat their daughter-in-laws like they are the maid. Hey, I've seen a mother-in-law telling the daughter-in-laws the things that they can do and the things that they cannot do. the dress that they can wear and the dresses that they cannot wear, how they can treat their children, the punishment, the discipline, how they treat their children is not right. Everything in that house, this mother-in-law makes sure that there is something wrong with it. Mother-in-law, this is not your home. This is your son's home. You have transferred the responsibility to somebody else. So please chill, sit back and watch them make their own mistakes. If you think you want to have a voice or a say in their home, tell your daughter to tell her husband. It is not your place to go and tell your son-in-law that he shouldn't do this, he shouldn't do that, he shouldn't do this. No. Tell your daughter to go and tell her husband. If you think they are doing something in that house that you have an advice, go and tell your son to tell the wife. It is not your job as a mother-in-law to go and impose things on them in the house. When you cross the boundaries, how do you handle it? Because boundaries are going to be crossed one day. And so said, this is what we are doing and you are not doing it. What do you do? How do you handle it? I'll say if mother-in-law is the daughter should call the mom and tell them what's happening. Just like when you have issue with your husband, how you resolve it. You call them quietly. You talk to them at the right time, in a good place. Talk to your mom. Say, hey, mommy, this is what you are doing. And it's affecting my relationship. Tell them in a very respectful way. Before you tell them, make sure you appreciate your husband in front of your mom. Or you appreciate your mom in front of your husband. Let them know that your wife, your husband is doing the best that they can. Yes, they are not you, mommy. They can never be you, mommy, because you've done a great job with me. You've raised me right. So leave me to live with my wife. Leave me to live with my husband. Stop interfering. And I promise you, once you talk to your mom in a very respectful way, because all parents want to know is you are still what? Honoring them, and you will still respect them. Things will change. But I promise you, there are mothers, there are people, there are in-laws who are restless. They will not change. If you talk to them privately and they still did not change, please go grab your wife, go grab your husband, walk into your mom or your dad's room, respectfully present your case. Let them know that you love each other first and foremost. Let them know that you so respect your mom. Let them know you so honor them in every way possible. But what they are doing is not helping you. It's destroying your joy, your peace, and your happiness. Yes. Yes, that is what you have to do when they cross boundaries. If they still do not listen, then maybe find a person that they respect and let that person talk to them. If it still did not work, then I don't know what else to tell you. Find a place and move them out of your home. Find one bedroom apartment, move them out of your home. If they are in Ghana, find somebody to take care of them, if you can afford it. But by all means, let them know that you still love them. Let them know that the same way they've taken care of you when you were a kid, it is your time. And it is your turn to take care of them.